Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tooltip Tuesday. I am going to do a very quick layout. I posted a throwback reel earlier this week, and I've had so many questions on how I created this page that I thought I would go ahead. I don't have any directions. It wasn't complicated, so I thought I would go ahead and for Tooltip Tuesday, I would show you all how I made that reel. So basically what happened was I was working on an album from the summer, and I was using the Deeper in the Woods collection, and I had gutted a lot of my pages so that I could have frames. So what I ended up with was a whole bunch of 1-inch strips, and they're not even all the same size, right? Because if you're making an 11 by 11, you end up with a 12 by 1 inch piece and then a 11 by 1 inch piece. So if you can see, these aren't even the same size. But I had all of these leftover 1-inch strips, so I didn't want to just throw them away. And I was like, well, what can I do with these? So that's how I created the design. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your 1-inch strips, and I literally just lined them up corner to corner on the diagonal. So I use the upper right and the bottom left to create little triangles. So you just line them up and then you slice them, and you end up with little triangles. And if they weren't exactly perfect, I didn't even worry about it, because that's part of the fun of the design, right? I'm just not a perfect girl. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it looks like a triangle and you can fit it in, you're gonna need different lengths, different sizes of triangles. So it really, do the best that you can, but if it's not perfect, don't sweat it. So that's what I did, was I went through all of these strips, cutting them on the diagonals. Like I said, if you don't get it perfect, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Do the best you can. All right, and so that's it. Now I have a pile of these scraps. So I just moved those over to the side for me, and I work on a 13 by 13 inch mat from Creative Memories. That's what I always use. And because we are covering this entire piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. So we are going to, I just use a piece of scrap background paper basically. And I do adhere mine to the mat. Now, when I was looking at my design and I was trying to figure out how I wanted my sunburst to radiate, I wanted it to radiate from this corner. And so in order to do that, I kind of had to take my longest strip and figure out, if I post it here, about where does it fall, because it can't go any longer than that. And that's literally how I determined where my sunburst was gonna start from. So there's two ways you can do this, right? You could individually go down and tape every single one of these. But if you know anything about me, I am a fast scrapbooker and I don't have time for that. So what I do is I just use my adhesive, and I just went all the way across like this. Just trying to cover it as best I can. At the very end, I will go around the edges and I will secure anywhere that's popping up. So anyway, I cover it as best that I can, and then I'm gonna lay this in the topmost corner. I'm gonna angle it about where I want it, and that's it. And then I literally just go through my scraps and figure out, what do I think will look good. And again, I try and line it up at this point. Remember, the point is where, and I did overlap them just a little bit because I don't want any of the white showing. And that's literally it, you guys. That you're just gonna go through picking your design, what looks good, what order do you like them in. I'm trying to pick different colors that I haven't used so that I can get all of the patterns on here. Just what looks good, what feels good. And because I'm trying to keep my points centered, I think that's why it looks like my strips are different sizes, right? Because if I'm up here, it's going to be a little bit thicker of a strip than if I'm down here. So I do think about that too. And if it's getting a little bit wieldy down here, I'll just put a little bit more tape. This one might trim off just a tad. And that's it. So there's my design. So then you're gonna wanna take all of it and you're just gonna cut off the edges. And it won't all fit into a trimmer. So I just went right along the side, trimming off all the edges. That's it. And I'll just move all my scraps and bits. And yes, I do keep those. And I will try and find another design where I can use those little bits. But as you can see, now that I have it finished, you can see where there are some bits that have come up. So now I go around with my, I just lost it. I don't know where it went, so I'll use my bigger one. I usually like to use my littler one for this part, just because I feel like I have more control. But it's usually the ends where you'll see where they flip up. Just have a little more comfort with the little one for the little bits. And here, I'll definitely want to tap that down more. I'm really just looking for bits where it's coming up, just to tack it down. You'll be able to see them. They come up pretty easy. All right, so there you have this design, right? So now on this one, I actually did a little bit lower than I think I did on the first one. It just happened to be where I put the angle. Again, that's up to you. You need to just make sure that the very longest piece from corner to corner, that you have enough space to start your very first one. Okay, now that I'm finished, I'm gonna bring in my pictures. And in this case, because I like my design so much and I really don't want to cover my design, I chose to use 3x4 size pictures, but you really, I mean, you could use a 4x6 if you wanted. You could use bigger. In my case, I used the 3x4, and I am going to mount them. I'm going to mount them on a lighter color background just because I have so much going on in my design, and there's a lot of darker colors. So I'm just going to choose to do a lighter one, and then I'm probably going to do it like this. Again, I like the angles. Like that. And then I have all of my stickers and all of my embellishments from the Natural Beginnings collection. And so here I just start playing, and I like to build a cluster out from the bottom and out from the top just because I have so much going on. I don't want to cover too much of my picture. I think I want it to go on top just a little bit. And I will try and keep my titles so it kind of follows the ray, so your eye comes across. Something like that. And then I'll maybe reverse it up here. do blue. Have these little leftover hearts that I found. I'm a heart girl, so I always like hearts. Probably want another one down here. And I don't know if I have another one. I found these. Don't have another one. I have a darker brown, but I'm not sure I want to use a darker brown, but maybe. But there you go. That's it. It didn't take us very long. I'll adhere all of that down and that'll be my layout. This is actually a good one for a title page. I might use this as my title page for 2025. I don't have a title page for it yet, so this looks actually pretty good. So there you have it. Again, I just used scraps. You can see this one is causing me some problems. It doesn't want to stay down, this dark blue one. So once it goes in the page protector, that'll help. But that's it, everybody. I will secure all this down on off camera and then call it a day. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. Hopefully this answered your questions. If you have any more, let me know. And otherwise, have a great rest of the week. All right, guys, bye.